Hi everybody, Miss Trout's here. I'm super excited about today because we're going to be doing snowflakes. If we were doing snowflakes in school, we'd probably be doing them on paper. But now we get to do them digitally at home, which is super exciting. We're going to have a virtual show in December 23rd. So we're going to get ready for that. So we're going to make our digital snowflakes. And how we're going to do that is we're going to use Sketchpad. We're going to use Sketchpad and the mirror tool. So not only are we going to use a graphics program, but we're going to practice using math in art, a fun way. Fractions in art. So you're going to see all about that. We're going to get some really good artwork and we're going to have a fun time. So let's get to it. So I'm excited to see you all again. And I just wanted to reiterate, I wanted to remind everybody where things were because this is only our second week in class with each other. So we need to learn the ropes and where everything is. So just a reminder that if we have anything for the week, which we always will, that week will be in a different color and you can go to that folder and check out any of the movies or anything that we went over. That way, if you're ever lost, you can just go back. You can watch something, you can pause it if you need. So that's a nice way of doing things. So just know that that will be here all the time. Okay, the other thing is we're going to go into our Bitmoji Classroom. So I'm going to make that a little bit larger. And I wanted to show you that, again, it's just like the classroom that we have in school. So it emulates that. It is reflective of that, okay? So first things first, like I normally do, I would say, I hope your day is awesome and welcome to Miss Trout's class. Super excited to have you again. And then we will move over to the objective. So I'm going to stop at this objective and I'm going to ask who would like to make 2 kickboard points for reading this objective. And pause. And we're back. Yes, wonderful job. So the objective says, and I'm just going to reiterate it, I'm going to repeat it, and the reason why is I'm going to stop different places to talk about it. So I will be able to create art using radial symmetry. Radial symmetry, we're going to go over that and exactly what it is with our motivation like we normally would in class. By making a snowflake, and the snowflake definitely has radial symmetry, and we'll show examples of that use math fractions in a digital media program. So we're going to use math fractions in a digital media program. We're going to use Sketchpad, and we're going to make radial symmetry. So what is radial symmetry? And how do we figure out what it is and what's examples? Well, now we're going to do that. So I'm going to go home. And I'm going to go to the motivation. I'm just going to explain what radial symmetry is. Does anyone want to read this for 2 kickboard points? And some of the words might be a little larger than what you're used to, but you know what? It's just about trying. There's no mistakes. So just try and read it, okay? Don't feel weird about having to sound something out because even I have to do that sometimes. So pause. And we're back. Yep, so radial symmetry is when all sides are the same around a central axis. And I'm going to show you what a central axis is. It is just the center of the object, okay? And has circular symmetry. So circular just means that it's round and going around circular symmetry. Everything is the same around a middle part. So that middle part is the central axis, okay? So we are going to go home again, and I'm going to go over the fact that I will always have examples on the board that you can click on, and they have links to different things, okay? So right here, there was links to those lessons, and here, I'm going to go back home. That once I clicked on that, it went to it. And now I'm just going to click on some of the artwork or examples of things that are over here. and it'll pop up and you'll see here is the central axis. So this is the central axis, the very middle, and this is the circular symmetry. Everything is the same going around. And if you look, this is a really cool example because if you look real close, you'll see lines going through the central axis. And what that does is it allows us to see the pi of the fraction. So this is a perfect example of how we're going to use math. So for instance, when we're using radial symmetry here, if I count from this piece of the pie, this piece of the snowflake, if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so there's 6 areas, there's 6 pieces of the pie. If I pick one, that's 1/6. So we're going to get more into that. It's super simple, it's fun math, and it is visual math. So looking at this snowflake, I'm going to stop right here and I want somebody to raise a silent hand and tell me, or write in the chat and ask me, like tell me about what they're seeing here. Is everything the same? Is there anything different? I know each snowflake is unique and we're going to talk about that, but here, let's talk about what we're seeing. So there is no wrong or right. We're just going to answer. So I'm going to pause here. And we're back. I loved those answers. I loved what you were talking about with the snowflake, and I love that you were involved. So everyone that was involved is getting a participation and hard work kickboard. So I'm going to go back now to home, and I'm going to click on this because there's something we need to talk about, and that is the fact that every snowflake is unique. Just like every human being is different and all of us are unique, and there's nothing, unless we have an identical twin, and even sometimes the identical twin might have something different about it. So physically, mentally, definitely identical twins. I have friends that are identical twins and they do not think alike, but definitely look alike. But in this case, snowflakes, every single one is different. Every single one is unique. So I wanted everybody to know that this is just a great example of that, and how you see all these, this is a tiny microscopic snowflake. So how these really form, and all these circular symmetry, radial symmetry is really awesome. You can see it at work. So I just wanted to show you that example. And now we're going to move on how we're going to make our own. I'm going to press home, and we're going to talk a little bit about how we're going to do our project. If you ever, on a side note, if you ever need to know how you're being graded, all you have to do is click on this rubric and it will show you how you have to be graded and what I'm looking for within each project, just to let you know that that's always on the board. Okay. All right, moving on, the demonstration. I'm going to click on that and we are going to go for it. So let's do this. Back in the Schoology page, and what we're going to do is we are going to use the menu over here and go right to Sketchpad. I'll actually make that larger for you so you can see it, and I'll go to home like you would have. And now I'm going to go to Sketchpad. It directly takes you to Sketchpad, and you can do it in English or Spanish. I'm going to choose English. Once I'm in Sketchpad, you can see I was working on something here. So that's pretty good that that's like that. So I want to do a new. So I'm going to click on new, and you can follow the red bubbles because it'll show you everything. And I'm going to pick blue paper. So it says blueprint. I'm going to pick that and hit create. And that way I don't have to put a blue background. I'm just going to leave it as that. I don't mind the grid in the background. That's fine with me. I'm going to do a few. We're going to do a couple. So you're going to take the fill and you're going to click where it says set fill opacity. You're going to click off of it. We're going to use outline for right now. I'm going to click on the color for the outline, and I'm going to choose white. Now, I'm going to go and get off everything so you can see where I'm going. I go to the mirror brush, but the mirror brush originally will be the calligraphy tool. So this is the way your screen will look, and you can see that it says choose brush, calligraphy tool. So you'll see this little feather right here, and I want you to go 1, 2, 3 down to the feather, and then I want you to click on the calligraphy tool options right here where it said pick a brush, and then I want you to go to the mirror brush. So you're going to go to the mirror brush. Now you can see these dots at play right here. If I press and draw them, they're going to be making my snowflake right away. But what I want to do is I want to play with this, and this is just like fractions. This decides how many pieces of the pie we have out, whether it's 1/6, 1/15. So these are the sectors right here. This is the bottom part of the fraction, okay? The denominator. So as you can see, it's choosing how many. And as I go up in the fraction, I get all these detail. As I go down, it's less. Same with line width. So this line width is the top part. That's where you're going to choose. The more you have, the thicker it is, the line width. So I want mine to be very thin, and I want a ton of sectors just to show you what happens. So this is super cool. You can still see the lines, and look at that. As I draw, you can see this is the center axle that we were talking about before, and then as you go out, so really get that going. Really make that's your first one. So your first one I want with light lines. So you're going to go back up here. You want this line width to be at 1. Make that 1. And the bottom part of the fraction you want, because you can see this is a pie. The bottom part of the fraction you want to be 29 or 30. You can make it an even 30. So I'll make it an even 30. Okay, so make sure yours look exactly like that. I'm going to pause there, and we're going to try this out. And we're back. So that was pretty cool. How I saved this beautiful snowflake of mine is I am going to go down here to export, and then I'm going to pick a JPEG, and it automatically saves it to your drawings. And in order to find them, all you have to do is go to this folder, and they're right here. Okay, so that's pretty cool. So I'm going to go back, and I'm going to press new. I am going to go this time blank, create. Now why I did that is I want the background to be blue. So what we're going to try and do is just fill in. I want to try this fill. This is set on sky. You can try and fill whatever you want. I want to do mine a darker one, so a blue, and it does fill it right away. So all you have to do is click on that and it fills it in. This would change your gradient to be lighter, darker. You can see that changing. I'm going to leave it there. That's fine with me. Now I'm going to go back up. I always press the select tool just because it helps me out. I don't know why. It's just a step that I take. I'm going to go back to my mirror tool, leave this on white. I'm going to change this fraction again. So this was at 1 point. Let's make a thicker one. So I'm going to try 5. And as you can see, I'm typing right in here. The sectors, how many pieces of the pie we have, and how detailed it is. I'm going to make this a little less detailed. I know I went from very detailed to lower, but that's what I want to try, all different forms, and you can see what happens to the fraction as you do that. So I am going to now put in 20. I think that's a even amount. So now I'm going to go here, and you can see how it moves across the screen. And wow, you can really see that right away. And ooh, beautiful snowflake. All right. So that's our second one. Now, Those are the only two that I'm requesting. Now, I want you to work with white and blue, okay? But I want at least 4 of these done. First 2 have to be white and blue, and the second 2, I'm giving you the option how thick and what colors to choose, okay? So white and blue for 2, make sure they're saved, and make sure they're 5 and 20 and 1 and 30, and then the rest are all up to you. I want you just to try it out. Remember, there's no mistakes, just happy accidents. So have fun, guys.